I just felt so lonely. Loneliest I've ever felt in my life. And I decided to shift because I recognized that loneliness. And it started to hit me how important community is. Hey, my loves, welcome back to another episode of the BS4 podcast. I am your host, Bria Villa, and today the BS4 binds. We all have a tie that binds. Shout out to Drake. It's one of my favorite Drake songs, by the way. Today I wanted to talk to you all about community and just the things that I've been feeling about community as I've gotten older and how heavy it's been on my heart as of late because I started to realize how important it really is and how I actually don't like the whole individualistic mindset of quote unquote every man out for himself or oh, in order to be self-made, you have to do it yourself. And it's like reality check. No self-made person has ever fully done it themselves. Like someone somewhere along the way has helped them, but that's not really the point I want to get to today. I just wanted to touch on the fact that we live in a world, or at least I live in a country. It's not like this everywhere, but I live in a country where individualism is so glorified, is so rewarded, and it's almost intentional because I realize that strength in numbers, strength in community uplifts everyone involved in it. And so sometimes I feel like society pushes us away from each other. I think social media gives us this false idea of community. Not saying that communities online can't exist, they absolutely can and they do, but it's not the same as someone truly showing up for you in a moment where you really need it physically. It's not the same as being able to sit in silence with someone, but their presence just makes you feel better. And I think we've gotten so used to social media being a space where we interact with people that we have become reliant on it and reliant in a way that we've deprioritized friendships. We've deprioritized building a true community around us because we think that we just have access to all these people online. And while we have access to them, it's not the same. Because at the end of the day, when you're messaging someone, at the end of the day, when you're maybe watching this podcast, or when you're scrolling on TikTok, or even when you're on FaceTime, there comes a moment where you put the phone down and you're alone. There comes a moment where you sit there and you look around and you are by yourself. That's not to make anyone sad, but I do think it is a reality that we have to pay close attention to right now because as much as we feel like we have it all, we also statistically feel the most alone we've ever felt. And I can say this from my own personal experience. I've moved a lot in my life. I've been very independent for a really long time. It's how I've operated. I've lived in 5 different states in the US. Each time that I moved, my community and the people around me shifted, dwindled, left. I gained new people, but the changes were constant. And so I got into a mindset of being super self-reliant and feeling like I don't need people. And there's this poem by Naira Waheed, and she says, "Never trust anyone who says they do not need other people." It's so simple, but it's so clear and so true. Community is so necessary. And for me, I don't think I actually, through all these phases in my life, through all these places that I've moved to, I don't think I've actually realized until this last move that I made how much I needed community, how much operating on my own was burning me out, how much, even though I had virtual relationships and people checking up on me, it wasn't the same as like physically having someone around, physically having family around, or being closer to family. When I was living in Atlanta, I moved to Atlanta with no friends. I moved to Atlanta with people I had only met online, which are now some of my closest friends, and I'm so thankful to have a community there. But when I was kind of finding my way through that, and like building that community. And my friends who are listening to this, who I built that community with, they were all my coworkers. So they'll know just as much as I know that when all your friends are also people you work with, you almost never escape work. Like, of course, we would talk about other things and do other things together, but work would always come up one way or another. And it's natural, it's no one's fault. But when you feel like your only community is also your work community, I feel so fortunate to have had them and be that close to them in and out of work. But I also felt so isolated because I felt like my whole life was being engulfed by my job. Also, all of my friends in Atlanta were married, or are married, sorry. All of them are married. And I am and was the only single friend. And as you know, like totally different stages of life, different interests, different activities that we are doing. And not like your girl was outside or anything. It wasn't like I was trying to get anybody to go crazy with me, but it is just a little bit different. And I just felt super alone. I felt super alone. As much as I love them and as much as they know that I love them, I felt very isolated. And it wasn't until that moment, and it's crazy because I thought that I got everything I wanted. I moved to Atlanta. I bought like my dream high rise overlooking the city. I bought and designed my house the way that I wanted it to look and had my dream car and a good job. And I thought that I just like had it all. But I had never been more alone, or alone isn't the right word. I had never been more lonely and sad in my entire life. I was so depressed. And I ended up even getting into a relationship because all of my friends were in a relationship. And I settled because I was lonely. And I still, in that relationship, felt lonely. I felt so unseen. I felt so misunderstood. And that's because we simply just didn't align. And no knock to that person, great person. He was a good guy, a great guy. But we just were not compatible. And it was even more isolating. I was like, I would cry because my best friends were on the opposite side of the country from me. And I would like hardly be able to talk to them because there was a time difference. I was always 3 hours ahead of them. So by the time they're getting off work and wanting to call me, I'm in bed. And like, I just felt so lonely. Loneliest I've ever felt in my life. And I decided to shift because I recognized that loneliness. And it started to hit me how important community is, how much the people that you surround yourself with are valuable to your life. There are people in this life that are absolutely irreplaceable. Do not let social media make you feel otherwise. There are souls that you encounter that are one of one, and it's important to nurture them. It's important to cherish them. It's important to pour into them, and they will do the same for you. But you have to recognize when you have it. That said, I've just gotten into the stage of my life where my family and my friends mean the absolute most to me. My community and building my community and watering it is like my top priority right now. And of course, I have other priorities, but my grandfather said, and I will never forget this, and it stuck with me since I heard him say it, and it too has become my biggest fear. He said his biggest fear in life is not dying. His biggest fear in life was dying alone. And that really stuck with me since I was a little girl. My grandfather passed when I was young. And I didn't fully understand the weight of that until I've gotten older. until I've had moments that I want to celebrate and I look up and there's no one next to me. Until I have moments where I just need a hug. Like I just need someone to hug me and tell me it's going to be fine. And I'm alone in my place. And like, thank God my best friend and her family are down the street from me now. And so I'm able to get that when I need it. But because I've had that for the last 2 years and because I made the decision to move close to her and to her family so I could have that, I have been so much happier. I've been so much happier having that community. Her family has literally, like, her family is my family. I was hanging out with her cousin today without her. Like, her family is my family. They've created such a community that they've graciously let me into. And I feel so honored to be a part of it. And I realize in observing them and observing my best friend how much she shows up for them and they show up for her constantly, consistently. And yeah, like your community, your family, your friends, everybody's going to have something that bothers you or that they do wrong or that you don't agree with. But God, we are in such a divided world where it's like people can't even disagree and still be connected. And it's unfortunate. There are absolutely differences in morals that people may disagree with. I understand that completely. I feel very strongly about certain things and am pretty conscious about who I align myself with, that they're aligned to the same moral compass that I have. And so if that's something that you're navigating, I understand, I see you, I'm with you, but there is always nuance. I don't believe that anyone is 100% bad or 100% good. Everyone comes out a baby into this world, and none of us are inherently bad. None of us. And none of us are 100% bad or good. I have this tattoo on my hand. I don't know if you can see it, but it is Medusa. It's Medusa with angel wings and a halo. And I got it because if you know the story of Medusa, she was quote unquote having an affair with Poseidon, and Aphrodite found out about the affair, cursed her, and gave her a crown of snakes, essentially, turned her hair into snakes. And any man that ever looked at Medusa would turn to stone. She was cast away, viewed as like this horrible person, when in reality, Poseidon didn't take any of the brunt for the affair. Poseidon was the one in the committed relationship with Aphrodite. But Medusa was deemed as the person in the wrong. And I know this is Greek mythology, but the story is important. And so people in mythology depicted Medusa as this horrible woman. Medusa didn't deserve to spend the rest of her life not being able to have human interaction with anyone. She inevitably couldn't, because she would turn anyone into stone that she would look at. She didn't deserve to be cursed forever for that. She wasn't 100% bad. And in the same breath, I put an angel with a halo because biblically they say that the devil is a fallen angel. And people view the devil, if you believe in the devil. I don't, but if you believe in the devil, people view the devil as 100% bad. But the devil was an angel once. And so it's not like, I'm not talking about these things as ultimate truth. I think the story, the principle is what matters about these things. That's why I have it on my hand. And so I think when we look at the people around us, we have to recognize that even if someone is 99% bad, there is 1% good. And I believe that that 1% good is worth fighting for. I believe that the goodness in everyone is worth fighting for. The goodness in everyone is worth trying to see. And I understand that sometimes those people don't even fight for the goodness in themselves. But that's what community is for, to help pull you out of difficult things, to help see yourself in a way that you can't possibly see yourself in that moment. That's why you have community. So many people are able to go down such a dark path, such a harmful path, such a hard path, but the community around them doesn't allow them to, or the community around them helps them so that they don't. It's so important to prioritize having relationships in your life. Friendships should not just be easily discarded. I had to check myself on that. I am not exempt from that statement. If anything, I really should take my own medicine. And I have been lately, but in the past, all my friends know I am so good for it, or I was so good for it. If someone even slightly crossed me, I would block them. My block list is so long on my phone. I'm not even bullshitting. I would show you, but there's like a bunch of numbers on there and I don't want to expose anyone, but my block list is very long and I'm not like proud of that at all. I used to be like, yeah, I have so many people blocked, and now I'm like, girl, what? Like, all they said was they didn't like your outfit. Now you're blocking them? Okay, it was never that dramatic. But yeah, there were certain people that crossed me that I just was like, I saw what I needed to see, blocked. Without even giving them the chance to explain it. Without even giving them the opportunity to share their side of it. And I'm sure that I've stumbled too. I know that I've stumbled too. And I'm not, again, I always have to like clarify the things that I say, because I'm not condoning keeping toxic relationships in your life. I'm not condoning trying to resolve everything with everyone that you've fallen out with. Relationships are complex. Being a human is complicated. And you are very able to forgive someone without having them in your life. And so I'm not saying we shouldn't put boundaries in place with certain people. You should. But what I am saying is somehow finding it in your heart to love the goodness in them, which is really hard to do. And that's truly forgiveness. I also think that love is really not measured by how infatuated you are with someone, or how much you care about them, or how much you love them. Like love them, love them. True love is defined by the hard things that you go through with someone and how you come out on the other side of that hard thing. It's defined by conflict resolution. It's defined by how you're able to carry on with that person regardless of how difficult life circumstances have been. Real love is choosing to lean into them even though there's things that are trying to pull you apart, is choosing to heal and move forward although there was something that tried to break you. That's what I really feel like love is. And it doesn't even have to be in between you. Love is me showing up for my best friend because her dad just passed in the ways that she needs me to show up, and not expecting her to be who she was before he passed. Because the reality is things like that change us. It's my job as her friend to love her through it and also love the new version of her on the other side of it. That's my job. It's how we get through that hard thing together. Vice versa for me. She's been there for me through so many things. Love is the one thing on this planet that is absolutely worth fighting for. Love should be nurtured around you all the time. And that's why community is so important. Having friends, having people you can rely on is so important. It is invaluable. I heard this quote that has always stuck with me, and I think about it all the time. And it's, in order to have a village, you also must be a villager. And I love that because it shows that in order for you to create this beautiful community with others, you also have to be a community member. If your friend is flying in from out of town, pick them up from the airport. If your friend had a crazy week and they just need a little support, order some takeout and bring it over to their house. My mom came to visit me recently, and she knows how I operate. I operate like very regimented and organized, and some of that I get from her for sure. It's the little acts of kindness, it's the little acts of support, it's the little acts of consideration that go so much further than the big things, than the grandeur things. So, for example, when my mom was here, I was doing laundry and cleaning up the kitchen and whatnot. And I go into my room after I had like finished cooking and cleaned the kitchen, and she had like folded some of my laundry for me. Without asking, without saying that she was going to, she just did it because she knew I was hosting her and she just wanted to make my life easier. And my mom's always been like that. Like, my mom will take anything off your plate to make sure that you're okay. And I love that about her so much. But I didn't understand at a young age the value of that until I realized that a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people's moms don't do that. And it was so normal for me, thank goodness, I'm so fortunate that I started operating that way. But I didn't realize that that's like not a common experience. And so often when people are saying like, oh, I don't have friends, or I don't feel like I have like close friends or community, it's hard, okay? Building a community is hard. Finding your people, finding people you're aligned with, finding people who think in similar ways. Not saying everyone should be exactly the same. You should have diversity in your friend group, 100%. Different perspectives, different upbringings, etc. But like morally and values-wise being aligned, right? It's not easy to build that community. It's not easy to find your quote unquote tribe, right? But things worth having aren't always easy. And if you're sitting here thinking, well, I don't have friends and it's so hard for me, it's like, well, what have you done to like make in-person connections? Like that girl that you follow on Instagram that you want to be her friend and you guys message each other every once in a while and she lives in your city. Have you asked her to get coffee? Have you asked her to maybe go do a workout class together? Like, we say it's so hard, but we're also so scared to try and create it. And you're never going to have it if you're just waiting for it to pop up on your doorstep. You're never going to have it if you're just waiting for someone to ask you. In order to have a village, you have to be a villager. Sometimes it's the small things that allow for you to be able to feel that way, to feel supported. Like, for me personally, I have so much going on. I literally work like 3 jobs. I do this podcast. I have my own consulting business, which if you are interested in getting one-on-one consulting to get clarity, to figure out your next steps, to create a roadmap for where you want to go, let me know. Reach out to me and I'd be happy to work with you. But I have this podcast, I have my own consulting business, and I work for a consulting firm doing a whole different set of, or a whole different type of consulting. I don't have a ton of time. I don't have a ton of time to call and hang out with my friends and we get busier and all the things. But because I do all these things, to me, showing up is resharing a post of mine because you know that my next listener or my next client could be one of your followers, or commenting, or, and not saying everything needs to be like this social media exchange, but those are like such tiny little ways that I can feel supported, even if we can't hang out all the time, right? And I think it's the tiny things that add up. It's things like someone filling up your water bottle for you, or charging your phone for you, or getting you flowers because they know that they're your favorite flowers, or asking you genuinely how you're doing and listening and being attentive. Love is consideration. It's not, oh, who can throw me the biggest birthday party or get me the best gift or take me on a trip? Like, sure, those things are great, of course, but community is built in the small, minuscule tasks, and they add up and they are felt. It's simply just showing up for one another. You don't have to show up perfect, but the fact that you even show up, a lot of people don't have that. Be that for someone else. Be the reliable person that they know if no one else is going to show up for them, you will. I like to try to be that reliable person as best as I can. Showing up as best as I can. Sometimes life, of course, throws things at you, but being consistent, showing up goes such a long way. And to the point of life hitting you, we're all so busy. We all have 1,000,001 things that we're trying to tackle, all these relationships that we're trying to balance, all these tasks that we have to do, our jobs, our health, our eating, our workouts, our family, our kids, our relationship, our career, you name it. We all have so many things going on. The fact that someone considers you, even amongst all the things that they have going on, is a beautiful thing. Be that person who also considers the people around you. Because the reality is, there is no individual experience that is completely unique. I promise you, whatever you are going through, someone else has gone through it. At different calibers, in different ways, but the feeling is the same. I talk about grief like pizza. If I bite the crust and you bite the end of the pizza, we're still both eating pizza. Different parts of it, a little bit of a different experience, but it's still pizza. That's grief, and that's life. You may have different experiences, but we are all going through shit. We are all going through shit. It is not just you. And I realize that the things that I've been through, the hard times that I've had, the depressions I've been in, are not unique. And they can't be my crutch. And I will not allow for them to be my crutch. I will not allow for them to hinder my relationships. And I am thankful for when I was in those moments that my friends, my community, my family chose to love me and uplift me regardless. It got me through it. Knowing you are not alone helps you get through it. Feeling like you're alone in all the things that you are dealing with is the worst feeling. A feeling that people do not come back from. But you have to remind yourself that there are so many people who are experiencing what you are experiencing, and you're not actually alone. But you have to try. You have to reach out. You have to ask for help when you need it. Sometimes you have to ask for love. And I know everyone's like, oh, I don't want to ask for love. But you don't get what you don't ask for. You don't. And oftentimes you don't get what you don't give. The hand that gives gathers. And so this community that you desire is already yours. It's just waiting for you to lean into it. It's just waiting for you to show up more. It's just waiting for you to be intentional. It's just waiting for you to be reliable. It's there. And your community doesn't need to be massive. It doesn't need to be 20 friends in a friend group. One good friend, one good solid friend that you know has your back, that you have full trust in, that you know will show up for you, sometimes is all you need. But also, you need to recognize that every friend, every relationship has its own role in your life. You don't have to hold everybody to the standard of your best, best, best friend. You just have to hold them to the standard of what they as an individual are capable of. It's not about treating others the way you want to be treated. It's about treating others the way they want to be treated. Learning that about them and showing up for them in the way that they need. And also knowing their capacity to show up for you. Like, don't expect someone to do something so out of character for them just because it's a thing that you want. Know the people in your life and learn to work with them. Learn to have a relationship with them. And not every relationship needs to look the same. Find the good. Choose the good. And of course, we can acknowledge the bad. And sometimes the bad outweighs the good. And sometimes you don't have the capacity to fight for the good, but you can still love them and you can still want good for them and you can remind them of their goodness. And if it starts weighing you down, okay, you can pull back. But sometimes we forget that we were all someone's baby once, and somehow the world has molded us into who we are now. Don't give up on people or cut people off for using the tools that they have. There's people in my life that I know my toolkit has more tools. And in that case, it's my job to show up for them with the tools that I have to help them gain those tools too. And I used to blame people for that. I used to be like, oh, I want them to show up for me in the way that I show up for them, but they don't. They don't know how to sometimes. It's different if they know how to and they just choose not to. Whole different conversation. But sometimes people just don't know how to. They don't know. No one's taught them that. That's not something they've ever been comfortable with. They've never even thought of things that way. Sometimes it is our jobs as people, as community members, as villagers, to help the people that don't have those tools, to lean into the people that need it when they do. Because I guarantee you, maybe at some point, you will lack tools that maybe they have. And wouldn't you want them to lean into you when you need it? And you may be sitting here thinking like, oh, it's not that simple. Like life is so complicated. Yeah, it is. It's complicated. Humans are complex. But when you kind of view it as like, we're all just on a rock floating in the middle of a vast and expansive universe. It's like, how different are we really? I was reading this book by Neil deGrasse Tyson, which y'all know I love him. And he said, if aliens, quote unquote, came to the planet and started observing humans, do you think that aliens would sit there and really differentiate us the way we differentiate each other amongst ourselves? Do you think the aliens would really sit there and be like, oh yeah, this white person and this black person and this tall person and this short person and this Christian person and this Muslim person? No. They would look at us and be like, ooh, these weird four-limbed humans that walk on their feet and talk. It's like us looking at rodents. Like, if you see a ton of rodents, all you're thinking is rodents. You're not like, that one's a hamster and that one's a rat and that one's a gerbil and that one's a mouse and that one, like, no. In the same way that we kind of disregard all the nuances in nature across species, aliens would probably do the same thing with us. And the point I'm trying to make is we work so hard to differentiate ourselves from one another. And of course, we all have this incredible uniqueness to us, where there's our souls that are beautiful and intricate and different, and we should be ourselves to the fullest and honor ourselves to the fullest. But in doing so, also see that in other people and honor it in other people too. I don't know. I've just been thinking about it and I wanted to share it on the mic and just share my thoughts. And that's just how I feel. That's really just how I feel. And that's what I want to continue to create and evolve is community. And I'm like actively trying to build it and grow it and find more people who inspire me that I want to be around because I look up to them, and people who make me feel safe and people who make me feel like myself, and spending more time with my family. My brothers are 26 and I want to enjoy them as adults. I want to have friendships with them as adults. My sister is a year older than me, and I want us to be closer than we've ever been. I want to be close with my parents. I already am, but I just want to pour into them so much more. And I feel like it's my job to. The same thing with my friendships. I feel like it's my job to. We need more people that are looking out for each other. We need more people that care about others. We need more people that aren't so tainted by the world that they have total disregard for other humans having probably a very similar experience to them. They just don't know it sometimes. And I was that person. When I was grieving, I was that person. I was like, no one gets me. And I've always had such a fear of being misunderstood when the reality is people get it. People have been through it. If it's not abundantly clear, community is very important. Having a village is very important. We were not designed as humans to do things alone. Do not let this individualistic society lie to you and say that individualism is the right path. It's not. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. It's an African proverb, and I could not agree more. Care for the people around you, love on the people around you, and it will all come back to you. So my challenge for you today is to reach out to someone that you haven't talked to in a while and let them know that you're thinking of them. And better yet, if they're in the same place as you, in the same city as you, ask them to go to lunch or coffee, just to catch up. And if they're not, ask them to FaceTime soon. Try to deepen your community. We may fall, we may stumble, we may slip up along the way, but it's worth it. For me, it's worth it. It's something that I'll just keep trying to do. And I hope in me talking through this, you feel inspired to do the same. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, like, comment, subscribe, follow the show, share with someone you know, and I will see you in 2 weeks.